everyone, and welcome back for another Cozy Things chat. And I am just so delighted to be joined today by my friend Miriam from the channel. Is it Miriam Elizabeth? Is that your channel?
Yeah, Miriam Elizabeth Reads. Yeah.
Miriam Elizabeth Reads. And you are just in for such a treat. Miriam, I think the first kind of interaction that we really had that solidified in my memory is discussing Footsteps in the Dark a year ago for Cloak and Dagger Christmas. And it was so fun because, you know, we definitely discussed the book in the discussion, but after that too, we just kind of all talked about how excited about mysteries we were. And you also read classic literature, and you can also maybe give like kind of a rundown of the genres of books you like. But thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for inviting me. This is one of my favorite series that you put out. Every time you put out a cozy mystery or a cozy things chat, I'm just like, this is the best. And when you asked me to participate, I was just honored. Thank you so much. I'm so excited. But yeah, just I read pretty similarly to you, I would say, in terms of the classics and everything. I haven't read as many as you have, so you definitely inspire me to try out new authors like that. But I also really enjoy historical fiction, mysteries, of course, and just kind of everything. I guess I'm pretty open to trying new genres and just seeing what suits my taste and everything. But I still consider myself like on a journey to figuring out what I really love. But yeah, honestly, your channel is what solidified my love for mysteries.
Oh,
yeah,
that
and
is so exciting.
Yeah, it's been so much fun.
And I think it's also I think sometimes a lot of people know to try Sherlock Holmes or Agatha Christie, and obviously, you know, those are classics for a reason. Then sometimes they don't know where to go after that. So I do love finding other channels that read mysteries and seeing just what a huge range, and that there are subgenres within the mystery genre. Just a lot of variety in there.
Sure.
And like I think people say for science fiction, you know, they can kind of ask the bigger questions of life, and I really think that mysteries can do that too. So lots of fun. I'm really, you know, just in a mystery reading mood as Cloak and Dagger Christmas is coming closer. While everyone is seeing this, it will be currently Cloak and Dagger Christmas. But enough kind of small talk, because I am really excited to hear your list and for everyone else to hear your list. So what is your first cozy thing?
Okay, so first off, I would say collecting mugs is huge for me. Every time I go to a bookstore, I need to get a mug or a candle. So actually the first two items are mugs and candles, and I wanted to share with you. I guess like you're saying, it's kind of like a show and tell. I want to share as many things as I can. But I think my current favorite mug would be this one with gnomes, and you're going to see a theme with the video, a lot of Christmas items, but I'm just obsessed with this. This is my like hot chocolate / mocha mug, because I like to put a little candy cane in it, just hanging over the side. So yeah, this mug is my current favorite. And
so cute. We actually got last year a little gnome for our yard. They're definitely like trendy right now, but I'm like, I don't care. They're so cute.
I have a little one here.
So cute.
Yeah, that's Joe.
Joe the gnome.
On the gnome topic, we have another one. So this one's I Love You No Matter What. I love this one.
That's so cute.
Yeah. It's another favorite. This one was $5 at HomeSense, which is owned by TJ Maxx. I don't know if you have HomeSense where you are, but
we not as many, but we're starting to.
Yeah, so HomeSense, honestly, best mugs, and they're really cheap.
That's awesome.
Favorite. I have a few more. I have this one. It's Cold Hands, Warm Heart. So perfect for winter.
And is it like a mint green?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, so pretty.
I know. It's just mugs are everything.
Yeah. Yes.
And then matching my shirt. We got a little
so fun. Oh.
And then when I drink tea, I need to drink it out of this mug. Good books, warm tea, fuzzy socks. So
check. It's so funny. I really do. I don't think people who go out and about, I just don't think they've accessed the full potential of being at home. Like maybe I'm like, that's why they like going out and about so much, is they don't know just how cozy you can make being at home.
I know I'm the biggest homebody. Honestly, I could just sit at home all day. It's
Yes.
funny though, because I also say that I'd love to travel the world, but I feel like I would need to travel in spurts. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
a few weeks
100%.
here, and then I need to spend like a couple months at home, and then a few weeks here, a couple months at home. So I'm
Yes.
really a homebody.
I forget, have you read the Betsy Tacy books?
No, but I have read, what was it?
Emily of Deep Valley.
Yes. So I read that
Yes.
one, and yeah,
Okay.
the writing was very cozy. I definitely need to read the Betsy Tacy books.
Oh, well, I hope you love them. But in Betsy and the Great World, she travels to many different countries, and she spends kind of half the trip being elated with how exciting it is to see everything and what a privilege it is, and then half the trip just being kind of so overcome with homesickness, just she's aching to be at home.
Yeah.
And just I think too of that, oh, that scene, the Megan Fellows, Anne of Green Gables, when she sees Gilbert at the train station and then comes back and is looking at pictures of Matthew and Marilla and Green Gables, and it's it makes your heart hurt so bad.
That's actually one of my favorite movies. I don't really watch movies.
Oh,
I'm not a big TV person, but that
mhm.
one, oh my gosh, obsessed.
Yes.
Absolutely obsessed.
Yes.
Yeah, and similar to mugs, I like collecting candles, although I haven't been collecting as many because of I just feel kind of sick if I keep them lit for too long.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I've been veering away from like Bath and Body Works and trying to get
Mhm.
more, I guess, soy based and
Mhm.
healthier. I mean, it's still smoke. It's still not the
All
best.
right.
But yeah, I'm trying to get better ones, but I have my 4 favorite here, and this one I only light around Christmas time. It's a snickerdoodle candle. So it smells like home baked cookies. It's
So
amazing.
there's some cinnamon in there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just obsessed.
so cool.
And then I also really like the smell of pine and any kind of coniferous tree kind of scent.
Yes.
So I have this pine needle candle as well.
Oh,
Yeah, this one doesn't smell too strong when I light it, but I still really, really like it.
sometimes
And
that's nice though, because pine is a really strong scent.
yeah,
So you
speaking
don't want it to feel overpowering.
yeah, I went walking in this forest and I tried to there were some pine needles on the ground and I was trying to pick some up just to like use as home decor because I like
Oh,
to go
yeah.
foraging for like pine cones and things like that in the
Yeah.
forest. And
Mhm.
the sap was just oozing out of it and my hands smelled for a good 24 hours after. No matter how much I washed them, just they're
Wow.
so potent. It's like pungent.
Yes.
My brain is a little
I think potent or pungent works, honestly.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so I'm in school right now, so I'm all about nursing school vocabulary. I'm like, how do I even speak English? It's been goodness. And then my other 2 that I absolutely love is this apple orchard one, and this one actually smells like an apple orchard. It's not like that icky
Mm.
sweet apple smell.
Mhm.
It
Yes.
actually smells like an orchard. It's
Just straight up apples.
yeah, it's clove,
Oh.
apple, and maple, the scent. So
Oh my goodness.
and it's almost empty. I've been using it so much, so it's like almost gone.
That's the problem with beloved candles. They don't last forever.
You know, and I feel like it's going to be the case for this last one, which is a Yuletide. And I don't know how to describe the smell. This is a soy one. And with
Mhm.
some soy candles, they have kind of a vinegar undertone to the smell. They're
Mhm.
not always the best, but this one, it just encompasses Christmas and coziness.
Oh,
I don't know how to describe the actual smell,
wow.
but it's a small town about 45 minutes away from where I am, and they make they're soy candles, and they're just absolutely amazing. Like just the best candles that I have ever smelled ever. They're just amazing.
Is
But
there maybe like a hint of cranberry in the scent?
um I wouldn't say like it definitely has a bit of a fruity touch to it.
Or possibly citrus, maybe. I feel like sometimes
Okay.
that's can be Christmassy.
It's sweet, but it's not too sweet. I don't know.
Yeah, like
I wish
tart and fresh.
I wish I could, make it smell for
I know, I know. Yes.
and it's a wood wick
Um,
too, so that the sound, just
oh yes.
amazing. It's my only wood wick one, so I'm trying to make it last. because they're very expensive here. So
Yeah.
make it last.
Oh, very lovely. So candles and mugs. I love it.
Okay.
So your next one.
So I tried to bring up, I was telling you, I tried to bring up 2 puzzles. I'm like, I'm going to pick 2 puzzles to share. And no, I brought 8 because I needed to show all 8. And I have so many more. This is, besides books, the one thing that I have no control of. If I see a puzzle that I like, I need it. The first one is very, very Christmassy, and the Nutcracker is like my favorite Christmas story of all time. So I have this Nutcracker puzzle.
That is beautiful. How many pieces is that one?
This one is 500. So it's a really, really good one to, you can work on it within a day, and it's just so much fun. So
yes,
the Nutcracker, and then I have a couple autumnal ones because I know fall isn't quite over yet. It is by the time you see this video. But this one is a Sunday morning puzzle.
Oh.
Some classics. It has a play by Oscar Wilde, Anne of Green Gables, Jane Eyre, and then a couple other classics. And it's just, this is a really good one for book lovers.
Yes. Yeah, it's so, I feel like puzzle creators have finally gotten the memo that like book lovers really love puzzles.
100%. I'm like, finally.
Yes.
And then I have, sorry, these are kind of out of order.
No, you're fine.
I have another autumn one, and it is a pumpkin patch. So there's this one.
Ooh. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's beautiful.
Brand at my Indigo, which is like the Canadian Barnes and Noble. So
okay,
a lot of
wow.
there. Let's see what else. Oh, another one for book lovers, Jane Austen lovers.
I have seen this one before. It looks
it's a hard one.
Amazing. Now, did you, by any chance, this seems kind of the ideal Jane Austen July activity to like listen to a Jane Austen audiobook and put that together?
I have a time lapse of me working on it as well on my channel. If
Do you really?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. I don't know how I missed this.
Yeah, it's back in July if you look at the July videos. So there's
Very
that
cool.
one. And then my favorite Disney movie and fairy tale.
Oh,
there's this one.
Wow, 1,000 pieces. So that is, you want to pick a movie that you love, being you're going to be looking at those colors and all of the angles of it for a long time. Yeah. Oh, cool.
2000 ones, and they're tough. They're very tough.
I've never done a 2,000 piece puzzle. No, 1,000 is, I think, honestly, maybe my like sweet spot is like 750.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
500. I feel like when it's 500, I can just sit down and do it. You know what I mean? And it's get it done within that time. But any bigger, and I'm like, okay, I need to kind of plan how long this is going to take. And yeah, because I use the dining table to make them. My parents are like,
yeah, and we do have a great big table, but I wouldn't like the table to feel cluttered at like mealtime. So I at some point need to get, you can get a puzzle roll, which is like this inflatable kind of pillow at the end, and then it has a sheet that you do the a plastic piece, that you do the puzzle, and then you roll it around it, and I think it velcros at the end.
That would be a good thing to get. I've been using like Bristol board, just poster board.
And
then like putting the puzzle under a carpet or something.
Yeah.
I'm not working on it, but it's not the most useful thing. Maybe something to roll it up would be really nice.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, very fun. And so do you have a couple more to show?
I have 3 more. I'm sorry. I know it's a lot of
puzzles. No, don't apologize. I love puzzles.
Ancient Egypt is another interest. So I got this Ancient Egypt one. And Eurographics is one of the best brands. Like their quality is top notch, and they have some really fun ones. So Ancient Egypt.
Cool. And then I forget, have you read any of the Amelia Peabody detective series? Okay.
This is why I'm excited for Cloak and Dagger Christmas, because I'm 100% going to read another one, if not 2 more.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I think the first 3 or 4, and I love it. Just the best. It's so good.
Fun. And I'm excited because I'm going to be reading, I can't remember what number it is in the series, but it's been, I think maybe 2 years actually since I've read one.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, Kate from the Novel Nomad and I are going to be reading one together, and it'll be, it's just such a solid series.
Oh yeah. And then the second last one is a cats and puzzles or cats and books. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah, there's
that's
that one.
great.
And then the last one I had to finish off with a Christmas one. So this is one that I just recently got and I haven't done it yet because I'm a little scared. It looks really, really hard. It's just a lot of vintage kind of cards and yeah.
You know what? So much like just putting on a great audiobook while you work on that, it will be such a treat.
That's the best time for me to listen to audiobooks as well, working on puzzles. I love it so, so much. So
Yes.
relaxing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, now I'm thinking I need to get a Christmassy puzzle. That would be fun.
Definitely fun. Yeah, and I guess next up is just coffee. I just had coffee written down because to me that's the coziest thing. I actually had to go to Starbucks and got a peppermint mocha.
Oh, delightful.
So good.
Have you watched much Gilmore Girls?
I'm currently on season 3 or 4. I kind of paused during the summer. For some reason, I can't really watch shows like that in the spring and summer. I need to wait until fall and winter again.
No, it is a fall and winter show. And I can't remember, this might be a later season, but where Lorelai goes to the bakery and she says, coffee, coffee, coffee.
Yes.
And so the lady gets her 3 coffees and she's like, I just wanted a coffee. She's like, but you said coffee, coffee, coffee. Yeah, I love that.
I know some of my family members make fun of me saying that I bleed caffeine because I'm always drinking coffee. Even in the evening, I have decaf because I need coffee all the time.
I miss coffee. I can't have it currently because of acid reflux. And that's the thing that I miss the most. Like tomatoes, I like tomatoes, but it's just like starting the day with a warm cup of coffee. Hopefully at some point in the future, coffee will be back in my life. I've tried that. There's like roasted dandelion root tea and it just tastes like really bad instant coffee. Yeah.
I need the real thing. I have really bad acid reflux too, but I'm just like, I will suffer through it. I will suffer through it for the caffeine. I can't, like, I get severe migraines if I don't have coffee.
Oh.
So if I were to ever quit it, I would have to intentionally, I'd have to pick a time where I'm not going to be out doing anything, working. Like I need to be at home
going a migraine vacation.
Yeah. Yeah. So I haven't had the courage to quit coffee just yet. If I ever will, but caffeine's a real deal for me.
Yeah. Oh, and I think it makes sense too. I feel like being in nursing school, like caffeine is a dear friend.
Oh yeah. When I'm at the hospital and I see patients with their IV pulls, I'm like, you know what? I need to put coffee in one of those bags and just walk around with the IV. That'd be great.
Yes.
Oh goodness.
Oh.
I don't know.
So is it number 4?
I think so. I didn't number 5 technically, but
okay.
This is not a thing. It's just Christmas in general is cozy for me. All things Christmas. You can see behind me, I'm just, as soon as Thanksgiving here in Canada is over, it's Christmas.
So that's like mid-October, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So by the end of October, we have our tree up. And I know this isn't for everyone, but my family, we're huge on it. So and honestly, it gets so cold and dreary. And I feel like for us, decorating is like therapy and it's, good mental health, good for our mental health. So
yeah. And I mean, and you guys have had snow already?
Not here in Ontario. I know that in the prairies they have.
Okay.
Southern Ontario are similar in weather to like Michigan and New York State, kind of things like that. So very similar weather. It has gotten really cold though. Today we're down to, I think it's 4 degrees Celsius. That's like in the mid to
the teens, maybe
30s in Fahrenheit.
Okay. Yeah. I don't understand why some people are so kind of affronted by people putting up trees and things early. Like it's not hurting you and it's Christmas.
Yeah.
What's so funny is I was very like, I don't watch Christmas movies before American Thanksgiving. Well, because one year I did it, and then by the time Christmas got there, I'd burned out on Christmas movies. So I'm paranoid that will happen again, but I'm like, I just need variety in the Christmas movies that I watch. So now I'm watching like all of the ridiculous Hallmark ones, new to me. And the boys sat down yesterday when I was watching one. And that's why I love Hallmark, because I can have it on, when they're around. And Peter looks at me, he's like, wow, this is a very cozy movie. And I was like, yes, yes, Peter.
You'll have to let me know about some of the good ones.
What's that?
You're going to have to share some of the good Hallmark ones, because I've kind of been,
Well, I will say this. Listen, Hallmark might just not be for you also, because you could be you could have watched one that I saw and thought it was great. And you're like, I think it's that as long as the lead actors acting isn't too painful to watch, I'll kind of enjoy it. But I mean, they are formulaic, they are predictable, but they are just filled with Christmas cheer.
Honestly, if there's the Christmas cheer and humor, I'm down for it. I think a couple of the ones that I liked were the Christmas Prince. It's with this blonde girl who's in a lot of Hallmark movies. But that one, it kind of reminded me of what's that movie where the girl finds out she's actually a princess?
The Princess Diaries.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite movies. I love how I forgot the title. Oh my gosh,
it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
No, there are a fair amount of like royalty Christmas film. It's like a whole like subgenre of the Christmas films, but there are definitely
what I like that.
Yes, yeah, and there are some more decent Hallmark movies out there. Yeah, so I am planning on at the beginning of December, I'm going to kind of rank all of the ones that I watched in November, and then maybe continue to do a couple updates throughout December.
That'd be so great. Yeah.
So yeah, it's fun for me. So yeah, any other kind of, what are some of your favorite aspects of Christmas?
I think it's just like those little traditions that we didn't necessarily realize we've made them traditions, but they've just been happening Christmas after Christmas. And then you're like, you know what? This is something we do every year. This is so special. And it just adds like a new level of beauty to those little things that, otherwise you're like, oh, it's not a big deal. You're just baking some cookies type of thing. But when it's the exact same recipe and it's from, I don't know, a very precious cookbook that we've had for so long, it just becomes so special. So it's things like that. And later in the list, I have a couple things that I would share that are kind of traditions for us.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, but next I would say are kind of more nature oriented. So I really, really love fall and winter forest walks, even in the winter when it's, there's no leaves on the trees. I just love that feeling of being in the forest, and it's usually very quiet. There's this quiet because there are no leaves being blown around. It's so peaceful. And so like I'll literally walk into the middle of the forest and just stand there for a few minutes and just soak in that silence. And it's the most comforting thing. Even if it's freezing outside, if I'm, all cozied up, oh my gosh, I love it so much. So
yeah, no, I think it's so much cozier to wear cold weather clothing because you have all of the layers. Whereas I feel like summer is just minimal clothing and then I'm still hot and uncomfortable.
Exactly. Yeah, and a lot of people here, especially in Ontario, hate winter, and it's understandable. We get a lot of snow and it gets very, very cold. But for me personally, I would much rather have to layer up than be outside in, 80 plus degree weather and be sweating. And, even in a tank top and shorts, and I'm still hot and just unbearable. I don't like it. So for me, fall and winter, it's just like, it's what I love. And there's no bugs, which is amazing.
Yes, that's such a good point. Yes. Although I will say on the East Coast, in America, we do have fall as a season for house centipedes to like make their ugly appearance. Have you seen a house centipede?
I have not.
They are, one of my friends, she overheard someone say they're made out of evil and dust. Yeah, so it's just, They have so very many legs, so many legs.
It really does.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but thankfully this fall, I didn't really, I'm going to knock on all the wood now. I didn't really see that many.
Oh,
So
that's good.
yes, yes.
Plus it's mosquitoes. Oh my gosh. The mosquitoes are
Oh,
brutal, brutal, brutal.
yes. And they're mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the summer, I stay away from forests because the minute you walk in, like your entire back, you just see mosquito like, everywhere. They cling to you.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely not fun.
Yeah. And then like going off of this, nature, just this love of nature,
Mhm.
I have found recently that I just love watercolor art that is
Ooh.
nature. So nature watercolors. I don't know any artist names. Like I'm not, well versed in any kind of artist and their work, but I just love, Pinterest for that reason. That's another thing
Oh,
on my list is just making Pinterest boards that romanticize the different seasons. And then I love the
yes.
watercolor kind of.
Have you read the Brambley Hedge books by Jill Barklam, I think is her name?
I haven't, but I plan on doing that in the springtime because of my love of Peter Rabbit. I need more of that kind of, yeah.
Yes. Well, I have to say though, Brambley Hedge has a book for each season.
No way.
Yeah, there's a couple additional books that are kind of I don't know if you can necessarily tell the season those stories taken, but there's an autumn story, a winter story, spring story, summer story. And there also is a really sweet but kind of cheesy claymation series they made out of the books in I think the 90s. And you can just access it on YouTube. And so the winter story episode is just so fun. Yeah, so I think that's definitely something that you could enjoy even outside of spring and summer. And then, like you said, Beatrix Potter, her watercolor is so beautiful.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, the serotonin just thinking of, of watching it and reading the winter book. Oh my gosh, I have to look into this.
Yeah, I hope you enjoy them. They really are kind of the closest thing to Beatrix Potter that isn't Beatrix Potter. And I love too, oh my goodness, the paintings are so elaborate too, with showing their stocked pantries. So all of these little nooks and crannies just packed with food and herbs kind of hanging in the eaves, and just very elaborate paintings.
That's something that, like, I wish I could live on a farm and just have a pantry like that. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Those kitchens that you see pictures of where they have the herbs hanging from like rafters or whatever they're called, like those wooden beams, and that's a dream.
Yes. No, it is. It really is. Oh.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And I think this is number 8, but I did mention Pinterest already. Like I love making boards that just kind of romanticize every season. It kind of helps, get through, I guess, the heat of the summer, the dreariness of the winter and things like that. So definitely love that.
So is it essentially to you, does it feel like looking at a picture book? You'll just kind of like scroll through the pictures.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Oh, and then it's fun kind of anytime you're excited about any kind of thing, just to make a board in honor of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Back in October, when Thanksgiving was over and I was, getting into the Christmas mood, I went and looked at some of my older pins in the Christmas board.
Oh.
It's that feeling of like, this is coming, Christmas is coming. And it's just so nice.
Yes, definitely.
And then music is definitely my next cozy thing. I love, love, love music. And I love anything that came out before the 50s and 60s. So anything before that, I am game. I am obsessed. So classical, jazz, just all the vintage music. And I brought a few records because
nice.
Records are it for me. It's different listening on Spotify versus putting a record.
Yes.
The first one's a Christmas album, and it's Elvis's Christmas album.
I love his Christmas music.
I know, it's just so good.
Yes.
It makes me sad though. There are only 4 or 5 songs on each side, but either way, I'll play them again and again. And this one was printed in 1967. My mom found it at a yard sale, so it's an old one, which I love.
Wow.
They're so much more affordable that way. The newer records, they're very expensive. Even like I tried looking for a Frank Sinatra record and they're all $40 or more.
Wow. Wow. So that's definitely a splurge.
Definitely. And then classical music is what I put when I study a lot of the time. So I have this Beethoven one, which I really, really love.
Wow.
That one.
Very cool.
And then this one is the record that my mom bought, and this is what got me into records and everything. This was the first one she got me, and that is this Glenn Miller jazz. And
Yeah.
this album is one where he took classical music but jazzified them. So
Oh.
it's really fun. It has green sleeves, it has Claire de Lune, piano concerto by Tchaikovsky, like a lot of the older
Wow.
classical pieces, but it's jazz, and this one is from 1957. So I feel like I'm holding something so precious. I'm just like, it's so
Yes.
my grandma was too when that came out. It just putting that into perspective, you know?
Wow. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, vintage vinyls and things like that, just oh my gosh, the cozy vibes that I feel when I put one on, it's just the best.
And
So
just
good.
the physical act of putting it on, pulling out the needle and setting it onto the record. That's
I have some really, really old ones that they're a different material, but I can't play them with the record player I have. It needs a different needle. And
are they like the really little ones?
I have a couple of the small ones, but it's the heavier material. It's like ceramic feeling almost. Like it's very different. Like these ones here are a lot more flimsy. Like these ones are very light. They feel like plastic.
Those are the ones that I grew up, my parents having those ones.
And those are the typical ones that you would find, but the ones that, so I got a couple from an estate sale and they're like from like the 1910s. It blows my mind how old they are. But you need old Victrola to be able to play them. So I can't play them.
You know what's crazy is we actually have an old Victrola.
No way. Oh.
Yeah, we do. And now I'm thinking we're taking it for granted. We should find a place in the house that it could fit. Because it's just, I love how antique it looks.
Does it have like that kind of tubing that goes outwards, like the very old fashioned?
It doesn't have tubing, but you have to wind it up, and I had a history teacher in high school and he was telling us about the Victrola. He's like, it was a good thing if you were on a date with a girl and things were if you were getting carried away, the Victrola would need to be wound up again. So you'd have to and go wind it up again. So that made me laugh. Yeah, so we have a number of records. I can't remember who who the artists are. Or they aren't, I can't remember, are they 45s? Like, is that what they're called?
Sure. I know the speed changes to like the revolutions per minute, and these vinyls are typically the 33.5 high fidelity, whatever, but the heavier ones, they're different, and the needle size that you need to play them are different. And the thing is, the record player I have, you can't change the needle. Like it's not, you can't, and even then I don't know where to look. Like I don't know anything. So if any of you are watching and you know anything about really old records that are like the heavier ones, let me know. Because I'm so sad. Like I'd love to play them. They're all classical, like Debussy, and I have a Chopin one. So I really, really wanted to be able to play it, but I can't. But they're for decor. So yeah.
Very nice.
And then I have 3 more things. The next one is baking/cooking. So I love to cook and to bake. And in terms of baking, this is the best time of year for me because I bring out this cookbook that I got when I was maybe 2 or 3, and my mom started baking with me, and it's a strawberry shortcake.
Stop it. Oh my goodness.
It's breaking, like it's so old and stained from all the ingredients we would use.
That is a well-loved cookbook, when you see stains in it.
It is, and we have a recipe here that I use every year for gingerbread cookies. So it's this gingerbread people recipe, and we have a bunch of scribbles here from when we tried to like double the recipe and the amount wouldn't work out, so we scribbled that out and added another one, and it's just so precious. And this is something I'll be, carrying on to my kids in the future. So
Yes.
this is
Oh, so is gingerbread kind of one of your favorite Christmas cookies?
yeah. And I refuse to make it unless it's November or December. I will never
Yeah.
make gingerbread cookies unless it's,
Yeah,
this.
well, I think it's like this, all of the kind of very spicy cookies,
Yeah.
just you crave those in the burr months, as people refer to October, November, December.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And I have a couple other cookbooks, but the other one that I brought up is this one. And I haven't made anything from it yet, but this is just so cool. It has things like canning and how to preserve tomatoes and how to make
Wow.
different sauces and jams, and there's like apple turnovers, and it's very, very old fashioned. So I can picture like the Ingalls family making a lot of these, in the
Yeah.
40s. Yeah, this is
Oh.
one that I got recently, and I'm really excited to try some of the recipes, and it has illustrations as well. So it's so fun. But yeah.
Wow. Oh yeah, you'll have to kind of maybe do an update video if you do make some things from it.
Definitely. And then I would say I'm not a movie person by any means, but there are a few that I just can't get enough of.
Yes.
And I save them usually for this time of year as well. The first one is the Barbie Nutcracker.
I
And
want to watch this. I've never seen it.
it's just like, I can't describe how cozy this movie is. It's just amazing.
Oh.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, the Barbie Nutcracker. And then my favorite movie of all time is the 1994 Little Women. So this movie, it makes me cry every single time. And it's not even like crying from sadness. It's just the emotions,
Yes.
I don't know. Something that it evokes in me just makes me tear up every single time.
Yes. Well, and I also, the chemistry between Winona Ryder and Christian Bale is just electric. I think that's why in that, when people watch that version, it's a lot harder to accept Amy and Laurie getting married, because there's just, Joe and Laurie are such kindred spirits.
I know. I know.
Yeah.
It's weird because in some ways I really like Professor Bear. I don't know what it is. It's not like
No, I do too.
I don't like the age difference, but I feel like he is so right for her. I don't know.
No, I agree. I'm always very heartbroken for him, for
Yeah.
Lori, that he's upset, but I'm like, I think she made the right decision.
Yeah.
I do think she's right that they would fight a lot. Because they are kindred spirits, but they are very similar. And so, yeah. Oh, so such a good movie and perfect for, like you said, for the winter months.
And in that regard, I think for someone like Joe, who she thinks a lot through her emotions, she doesn't always think, what would be the most wise choice. It's more like she's a very emotional person, not necessarily a weak person, but just, very, very in touch with her emotions. But she was really, really wise in her choice, I feel.
She was, yeah. And I think that's definitely
A lot.
That whole scenario happens in Good Wives, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that definitely seems kind of more mature, grown up Joe.
Yeah. And I think she had gone through quite a bit too, and everything with Beth by then, it was, she definitely grew as a character. So some other movies that I love, I would say North and South from 2005. That is just amazing.
Yes.
The 80s, Anne of Green Gables, of course. I grew up on that and I'm just obsessed.
Yes.
And Pride and Prejudice from 1995 is a favorite.
And I'm excited because New Year's Eve, that's our tradition as we watch it. And so,
that's so sweet. That's so
yeah. And it's fun. We'll take breaks, but we're like, that's the goal of this day.
Yeah. That was a heartwarming one. And then my last is a TV show that I also grew up on. Ever since I was a baby, my mom would play this. That's the Little House on the Prairie series, and we have this box set.
That is such a cute way to package it. Oh my goodness.
We had like the old packaging, and they all broke. All the discs were just covered in scratches. So we got this one more recently, but it comes in like the little favorite character. Yeah. So that's another. It's another. Every time we were sick, like stomach flu, anything, my mom would just put put one of these on. And
I love that. That's a way to like get your children to love what you want them to love, is put it
Yeah.
on when they're sick
Yeah.
and, you know, make sure it's comforting. And I always had just the biggest crush on Pa from that show. He's so handsome.
That's so funny. That's actually I did too when I was younger.
He's just very handsome, and he's very like competent, and he's like a loving father and husband. He's just a great role model. And I think from what I've heard from the people who acted in the show, like he was just a really sweet guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he was probably my favorite character just because of his integrity. Like he had a lot of integrity. And you know, it's interesting because the show was filmed in the 70s and early 80s, and there was still a lot of prejudice then, but to think of the themes that were in this show, especially around like Indigenous people and everything, it was really nice to see, you know, a lot of hatred, but then Charles always coming in like, no.
Yeah.
Very
Just a breath of fresh air.
Yeah. And I have to say, Mr. Edwards is my favorite character. He feels so much like an uncle to me. He's not real, but like I feel like if he were to just show up, that I'd know him. You know what I mean?
Like, hey,
yeah, it's you. You know? Yeah, it's just so heartwarming. And then I think my last thing, I saved it for last, of course, is books. So going off of Little House show, I have to share the series.
And are those the nice ones that have the color illustrations?
They're not colored, no.
Oh, okay, because there's some that have the colored illustrations. Oh, but I love the pen and ink. Is it Garth Lewis? Is he the illustrator?
Garth Williams, yeah.
Garth Williams. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So these books, I did not read them as a kid, though. I only read them. I think I actually did read the first 3 as a kid. So the first 3, but I didn't finish the series. And then they were lost when we moved, and so newer
nice.
acquisition.
Yes, you know, I feel like that's what makes me feel really at home is if, you know, I can access my books. And so, you know, having a favorite series where you can't find it would be a little bit distressing.
I lost quite a few books in that move. It was pretty tragic. I had the 80s or the 90s paperbacks, the mass market paperbacks of the Anne of Green Gables series, like the OG, very, very old. And we lost them too. So
how did they get lost?
I have no idea. I feel like we had a box of books and that box vanished. It was so heartbreaking.
Maybe it was like a Toy Story 2 situation where there was a yard sale and some things accidentally, I don't know.
Yeah, and they were for my grandma as well. She had a lot of those really old stories, and just so sad.
That hurts.
I know. And then after that, I am currently rereading this book for the 3rd time. Of course, it's Little Women, because this book is it's everything. So Little Women.
I just love how slice of life it feels. Like you really feel like you're getting a letter from the character and them being like, you know, and this is what I did this week in my life.
It's just amazing because I feel like I see myself in all 4 of the sisters.
Yeah.
Like I see myself in Meg, just in like her, I mean, she starts off very, I wouldn't say superficial, but she definitely,
maybe a bit vain.
Yeah. And like, I feel like it's understandable because all of the girls her age who were, you know, upper class, they were doing fine financially while her family was suffering because of the Civil War and her father and everything.
His convictions.
Yeah. And Meg just wanted the finer things in life. You know what I mean? She just, and I understand that. But at the end of the day, she really matured and found so much joy in her domesticity, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And I could definitely see myself that way too. Like, I definitely have similar desires. And then I have Jo, like more of her temperament. I'm definitely a lot like Jo. Oh gosh. Every time she'd get frustrated, I'm like,
I know.
That's me.
Yes.
Yeah. And then Beth's appreciation for music and Amy's, I guess I'm not artistic by any means, but Amy's love of art, I definitely relate to that. And her feeling of like, no one understands me, you know?
Yes, yes. The part too where I relate to Meg is
All of the girls.
when she tells John, I'm going to be a wife that is just very hospitable. And so anytime you want to bring someone home for dinner, you don't have to tell me in advance. They can just come any day. He's like, are you sure? And she's like, yes, like this is my role, to have the home ready. And so he brings the friend when she's jam making and every pot is filled with sticky jam. And acts like I have done that before. We're like, why did I agree to that? Why did I say I was okay with this? And then kicking myself later on because I was the one who said I was okay with it.
That's so funny to me because that's me, like in a nutshell. I'm such a big introvert. And so I'm like I'll tell a friend, you can come over whenever you'd like to, just knock on my door. My house is always open. And it's true. Like, as soon as they arrive, I'm, whatever. But
yes.
But then when people show up,
the anticipation.
And yeah. But then people show up and I'm like, like this wasn't planned, next time can we you know what I mean?
Reading I was going to get done tonight.
That's so funny because it always happens when I'm reading too. I'm in the middle of a chapter and I hear a knock on the door and I love people, I love my friends.
Yes.
It's not that I don't want to see them, but it's always like, could you have texted maybe?
Yeah.
I love you guys.
Wait till I finish this chapter. Just wait at the door. Let me finish this chapter. That's what I always, my boys just know when they ask me to play a game or anything. It's like, okay, let me finish this chapter.
Yeah. I usually redirect them to the coffee machine. I'm like, help yourselves. I'll be down in a minute.
That's amazing. So did you have any other books in your stack?
I think so. Let me just see. So I said Little House, Little Women, Anne of Green Gables, of course. And I don't know if you've heard the audiobook on YouTube by Karen Savage.
No.
She is my favorite. She narrated the majority of the Anne series. Mm-hmm. So Karen Savage, she just has the Anne voice. Like there's just something about her voice. She's done it through LibriVox, but everyone loves her. She's the best.
Wow. Oh, that's so cool. Karen Savage, you're getting famous. Maybe, what? I do think at some point, audiobook companies are going to get the memo, and some of the readers, you're like, yeah, it's best if you don't do that professionally, but maybe Karen Savage at some point will just get a professional narrating deal.
She hasn't done anything recently. A lot of her audiobooks are from like 2008 to 2015. She hasn't seen anything recently. So
wow, because I don't love the other narrators that I've tried for Anne of Green Gables. I kind of I tolerate them.
Yeah.
But they're all pretty monotone.
Karen Savage is incredible. She puts on the persona of every character, including Mrs. Lind, like Rachel Lind.
Oh.
Very spunky in how she, imitates her. So good. She's so good.
Now, did you grow up watching the Road to Avonlea TV series?
No.
Okay, because I've just fallen totally head over heels in love with that. And it's fun because there are some episodes that Rachel Lind is in.
No way. Wow.
Yes, and Marilla. And then apparently in season 3, Gilbert does make a guest appearance. So I'm really excited about that. Yeah. And then I love what's that?
Excuse me. Are they based on any of Ellen Montgomery's books?
I think they're based on some of the Story Girl and some of, I think, a little bit of Jane of Lantern Hill, but then kind of they just do their own thing. But I like the story, the story writing enough that I'm kind of okay with them just kind of freestyling. I've been surprised at how charmed I've been by it.
I have to try that one out. I don't know if it was Mitzi who mentioned it, but someone on YouTube mentioned it. I really, really need to try it. So yeah. I have two more books and then my list is over. But Agatha Christie, and in particular the audiobooks on YouTube narrated by either Hugh Fraser, who played what's his name?
I know.
He played someone in the show, the Poirot. Hastings. Yes. So Hugh Fraser, he does a really good job with the narration, and obviously David Suchet as well, who played Poirot. He's amazing. So any audiobook narrated by either of them. And then there's also the Miss Marple audiobooks that are narrated by a woman. I
Is it
forget.
Amelia Fox?
No, it was a different name. Oh goodness.
Oh, I can't remember. You know, because I haven't read the Miss Marple yet. I've taken like 10 years now. I'm still working through the Poirot series, and then I will let myself start Miss Marple.
Yeah. But no, it's a woman. I think she might have even played Miss Marple in the miniseries or the show.
Joan Hickson, maybe?
Yes.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure there are some with her narrating as well. So anytime
wow.
that an actor narrates their character, it's the best, the absolute best. So
Yes.
of that. But I had to, my last book here, it's my favorite Christmas story of all time. It actually supersedes The Christmas Carol, which didn't think that any book would, but it is The Nutcracker, the original E.T.A. Hoffman Nutcracker.
I'm so excited. I'm going to be reading it this year for the first time. I've never read it.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't think it would be a 5 stars for everyone, but it's because of my love of the Nutcracker ballet, and to know this is the source material that the ballet was based off of. It's just but ironically, I was under the impression that the main girl, her name was Clara, but that's just in the Barbie Nutcracker. Her name is actually Marie. And the New York City Ballet, yeah, Amy from Amy of Hearthridge, I think, is the one that told me, or no, not Amy, Kelly. She told me that they changed her name. The New York City Ballet changed her name from Marie to Clara, and so now everyone knows her as Clara. But then when I read the original story, I'm like, wait, isn't her name Clara?
That's so funny. Wow.
When they go to like the Winter Wonderland in this story, oh my gosh, just this is a childhood dream.
Yes. Well, and the music from the Nutcracker Ballet, that's, I don't think I'll wear out on it.
No, and Tchaikovsky, he didn't really like it. He did the music, and to him it wasn't his best. Like, he wasn't as impressed by it, which is so funny because it's become such a, I don't know, pop culture thing maybe, but
yeah, it's really saturated it. I think that's something as an artist that it's got to be kind of a vulnerable thing to put out, what you think is your best work and wait for, what people think of it. And I know that George Eliot, her favorite book is Romola. Well, I mean, how often do you hear about Romola? Yeah. And it is amazing. I love Romola. But it is not that user-friendly of a book. So it's one that is very rewarding. But I just felt like, oh, George Eliot, that's your favorite out of your books.
Yeah. It happens with videos too, where you film a video and you're like, oh, this is my favorite. And then the views like,
Yes. Yeah. Especially the ones that you put a lot more work into.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, well, fine. I'm just not doing that kind.
Yeah. And it's completely okay. Like, if you loved it, that's fine. But it's just so funny about the Nutcracker that it wasn't his favorite. So
yeah, that's interesting. Well, this has been so lovely and so delightfully cozy. So thank you, Miriam, so much for sharing your list of cozy things that are, I think, perfect for the festive time of year.
Thank you so much for having me. And this was just a blast. Oh my gosh. Any chance I get to share, I take it up. This is so fun.
It's so funny because I was just talking to my husband again about the Cozy Things chats and my plans for it. And he's like, it's just such a good concept because it's just people talking about things that they really love and things that they really enjoy. And that's where you're going to see people light up, talking about the things that bring them joy. So I will link all of Miriam's social media down below. And thank you everyone for watching, and have a lovely day.
Thank you.